Hi everybody, Harry Plackout here. Welcome to another Artist Corner. Today we have a literary artist. I met the gentleman about 2 or 3 months ago in Hopedale. They were having a town fair. And I'm walking the fairgrounds, and in the shadows, in the shade, was the gentleman we're going to be talking to this afternoon. His name is Glenn Ickler, German name, Glenn Ickler. Very prolific artist. In fact, I told him when I met him that Saturday in Hopedale, I says, "You're not prolific enough." In the meantime, he must have had 20 books scattered, right? 20 books?
Oh, not quite. This is 15.
Okay, 15.
Yeah, I'm working on 16.
When I asked him his latest book, and he told me, I bought it. See if I can get a shot of this here. It's called Arsenic in Old Men. All right? Glenn, I'm going to have you do something.
Yes?
And I preface it by telling you that my life has been in music.
Okay.
As a broadcaster, I played jazz. I played what nauseatingly is referred to as the Great American Songbook. You've heard that phrase.
I've heard that phrase, yes.
Okay. It's used ad nauseum. In reference, I simply refer to it as the book.
Okay.
The book. There's nothing more endearing than having a lyricist, somebody who wrote the words, sing them themselves.
Oh, that would be very interesting.
Hoagie Carmichael, yeah. Johnny Mercer.
Right.
Who else? I'm sure there are others too.
Mm-hmm.
With that in mind,
yes,
I wonder if you would recite the first paragraph in this book in the same voice you heard when you were writing it.
Okay. I guess I can do that.
Okay.
Just the first paragraph.
First paragraph.
Where does a guy dressed modestly in shorts and a t-shirt look when he's shaking hands with a naked man?
No, that's more to it than that.
Oh, okay. That was my dilemma as I reached for the outstretched hand of the nude sunbather who was introducing himself to me in the clothing on the clothing optional section of Lucy Vincent Beach on the island of Martha's Vineyard.
Thank you. Thank you ever so much. I think this show will be my ticket out of here. Oh man, it was so great to hear you say that. By chance, is it memorized to some extent?
Is it memorized?
Yeah.
No, not really.
How did you come upon, tell me how that book was born.
How this book was born? Well, I have a summer cottage on Martha's Vineyard.
Right.
And people have been telling me, you ought to write something on the vineyard. You know, I've been writing, well, I'm from Minnesota originally, and I've been writing Minnesota stuff. And they say, oh, you got to go to the vineyard. So I conjured up a way to get my main characters, who are a newspaper reporter and a photographer,
yeah,
to Martha's Vineyard from St. Paul. Mm-hmm. And as it turned out, I had a cartoonist whose uncle was the editor of the paper on Martha's Vineyard.
Okay.
And said uncle died, and the cartoonist was his only living relative. Wow. So he had to go take care, and he inherited the guy's cottage on Martha's Vineyard. And so that's the way I got them there.
A lot of local color in there, news and everything else in there.
What? A
lot of local color.
Oh,
you refer to landmarks quite a lot.
You know, I've had my cottage on the vineyard for almost 30 years now, yeah, and I've explored pretty much all of Martha's Vineyard, so I know the streets, and I know the towns, and the restaurant they go to there is a real restaurant. In fact, I gave them a copy of the book.
Did you get a lot of revenue out of Martha's Vineyard when you published the book? Did everybody on the island buy one?
I had a really good sales there. once a year in August, the campground, it's called the Martha's Vineyard Campground,
Yeah.
Camp Meeting Association. It started as a Methodist summer camp meeting, and now it's cottages. And in the middle of August every year we have called Illumination Night.
Okay.
And everybody puts lanterns up on their cottages, and I sit on my porch and sell books that night. And I did really well this year with that one.
As well, yes, I can well imagine. I
Yeah.
can well imagine. When were you bit by the writing bug?
When was I what?
When were you bit by the writing bug?
Oh my God! When I was probably 8 or 9 years old, I drew comics and things when I was a little kid, and when I was in grade school, I would tell stories to the other kids at lunch hour, and even the teacher would listen. And when I got into high school, my best buddy and I put out our own little newspaper called the Peculiar Press, in which we slandered everybody in school. Once a month we would come out with this thing.
Oh, do you have any copies of that?
Oh, geez, I don't know if there's. I think I do. I think my mother saved them somewhere, but I.
Now, what did the faculty, the administration have to say? The school administration.
The administration didn't say anything, but some of the teachers really enjoyed it.
Oh, I bet. I bet.
Yeah.
So it was a satirical look, was
Yes,
it?
yes, it was.
Oh,
Yeah, it was. We kind of poked fun at everything in the school and in the town, and
I would love to see those.
oh boy, if I've got them, they're deep down in the basement somewhere.
I know what that's like.
Yeah. Then when I was in college, I was for a couple of years I was sports editor of the college paper.
Oh, okay.
And I was editor of the literary magazine, and so I was writing.
So your roots are definitely in communication, writing
Yes,
skills and all that.
Yeah, I've been writing since I was that high.
Are you a twin?
Am I a twin?
Yeah.
No.
I only ask that because there are similarities in both books regarding
Oh, I see what you
twins.
mean. Yeah. No, in fact, I am an only child.
I was going to ask you if you're an only child.
I'm perfect.
Now, did you do coffee houses back in the day, readings of your works?
As a matter of fact, one of my daughters-in-law owns a coffee house in St. Paul, and I've done almost every book, including this one. I've done a reading there.
Cool.
It's a good,
It's a good venue,
it's
isn't
a
it?
very good venue. Yes, it draws a lot of people, and she has national people come through there. So it's
Yeah.
She's having Claudia Schmidt this weekend.
I don't know who that is.
Huh?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, she's a folk singer. She's been around forever.
Okay.
She's on a national tour. But anyway, it's nice to have, every time I go back, my daughter-in-law says, well, you put you on the program for Thursday night.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
Then
it.
I get a little blurb in the St. Paul paper because I used to work there. And
Wow.
the woman who does the book column there is still a person I worked with way back in the 80s, 70s. And God, she must be pushing 90 years old, but she still does the book.
Incredible. Incredible. Let's talk about this one.
Okay.
You had recommended, when I spoke to you last, you had recommended that I read this one next.
Yes.
A Doomsday Killing.
Yes. That's the one in which one of these strange religious sects has their annual meeting in downtown St. Paul, and the woman who leads it predicts that the second coming is going to happen on Easter Sunday in a couple of weeks. And the whole world becomes aware of this. And then
They become enraptured? Is
yes,
that
they
it?
come in. Nice, huh? Anyway, before the rapture can happen, the woman is found dead in her hotel room with a wooden stake in her heart. She's been shot with a silver bullet, And she's found in a room that's locked from the inside, so no one can figure out how anybody did this.
Don't give away the ending.
Oh no, I won't. That's the challenge of my newspaper reporter or photographer team, is to try to figure out who did it and why and how they got in there. So that's the main challenge of the whole book. And media from all over the country comes flooding into St. Paul.
All over the world.
Huge
All over the
mess
world.
all over the world, and makes a terrible traffic mess. And it's winter time, and there's snow in the streets.
How was it born? From where did it come in your mind?
Where did it come in my mind?
Yeah. How did you come up with the book?
Actually, I read about a real woman prophet who had died a natural death.
Yeah.
And she was leader of this group. And I got this idea about, geez, wouldn't it be something if a person like that was murdered in a mysterious, weird way, and the whole raised Cain with the whole town. And there are two people who are battling to take her place, by the way, which is another part of the story.
It's an incredible book.
Yeah.
I have to give it to my son.
Yes.
I had given him a synopsis. He says, "Dad, when you're finished with the book, I want to read it." So that's
Yeah.
where it goes
Oh,
next.
good. Yeah.
That's where it goes next. Tell us about a Pulitzer in your life. How did that come to be?
It was when I was on the editorial page of the St. Paul Pioneer Dispatch and Pioneer Press.
Yeah.
There was a plan to move the Twin Cities International Airport from its present position, which is in kind of close to a heavily populated area, out north of the Twin Cities to a less populous area, which had a number of problems with it. Number one was that it was swampy out there, and they're going to have to spend a ton of money draining swamps and filling in and doing all kinds of things. And it was further away from most of the people who would use the airport. It would be a longer transportation for them. And of course, the people who lived out there wanted no part of it.
Yeah.
And our paper, I led this editorial campaign to oppose the move. And our paper, the Minneapolis paper, was all for it for some strange reason.
They were for the
They
construction?
were in favor of this, which I thought was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But anyway, our side won. They decided eventually not to move the airport, and we were nominated for a Pulitzer for our editorial coverage of the.
Did somebody have to go to, was it at Stockholm? Is that where they dole out the Pulitzer?
No, we didn't have to go there.
They sent you a note, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. I'd have gone. I'd have been happy to go.
That would have been nice.
Yeah.
We're talking to Glenn Ickler, a writer extraordinaire, a nice guy, and he has money to lend you, so give him a call. How's that, Glenn? They give you a nice plug.
Oh, great. That's good.
Tell us about the sequel that you're doing from Arsenic and Old Men.
Oh, yes. Well, the main characters, Mitch is the reporter, Al is the photographer, and Dave is the cartoonist. And they figure out who murdered Dave's uncle and get that person or persons to confess to it to them. And it's really the only evidence, solid evidence, that the prosecution has. And this next book is when these three guys go back, they are the star witnesses in the trial for these people.
Yep.
And the prosecutor really, he doesn't have, he's got circumstantial evidence, but these guys are on the thing, and of course the defense tries to make these guys look like idiots.
Yeah.
And he does a pretty good job at one time. And then, of course, while they're there, another problem arises, and that some people get killed.
Oh,
And they're from St. Paul. So
oh my. Did you sell a lot of these in St. Paul?
I did okay. I'm not on the bestseller list, unfortunately, and if I had to live what I make off this, I probably wouldn't be eating as well, but I do have other income. But yeah, I have a lot of fun writing them, and I don't make a lot of money, but I do sell pretty well. I have a regular group of people who buy every book I make.
Do you are you asked to speak at various gatherings?
I have been. I have spoken in the Hopedale Library. I've spoken in the St. Paul Library. I was on TV in Framingham. I get around.
You get around.
I think, yeah, I did something at the Milford Library after.
We're talking to Glenn Ickler. Spends his time in Hopedale, spends his time on Martha's Vineyard. A wonderful, wonderful author. I thoroughly enjoy his work. Once again, Arsenic in Old Men and A Doomsday Killing. You say you have 15 books?
Yes.
Tell us what it was like to get the first one published.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah, I bet.
I sent it off to, I got 22 rejection letters from various agents and publishers.
Okay.
And I'm complaining about this to a friend who is an 85-year-old, never married bachelor. And he says, steamy sex. You gotta have steamy sex. Well, who would know more about steamy sex than an 85-year-old never married bachelor? So I went back and I started that first book with steamy sex right off the first page and sent it to a small publisher in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And I get a call from the CEO saying that she would very much like to publish this book. Do you have a series? Oh, I hadn't even thought about a series, but yes, I have a series. Oh, good, she says, I'll give you a contract for 3 books. So there I was.
How did they promote it?
Oh, they promoted it through the various catalogs, the book catalogs that go out to the stores and to the libraries.
Right.
And through they send out press releases to various places.
Right.
And actually, on the second book, they invited me to the National Book Conference, which was in Washington, D.C. that year, where every publisher, remember there's thousands, 10,000 new books there every year. It was huge. And I sat there and talked to people and gave away books free, you know.
You got to go back to the first one.
Yeah.
Steamy Sex.
Yes.
Tell us what that was all about.
Well, it was about, actually it was about Mitch, the reporter, who had been married and had a little small child, and they were wiped out. His wife and small child were wiped out in an accident before this book even began. And he had met a woman that he was quite enamored of at the time in St. Paul, and they were engaged, shall we say.
Any crashing waves in this story?
Are there what?
Crashing waves. It's a metaphor you see in movies depicting the moment.
Yes. Well, it's not graphically descriptive, but you get the idea of what's going on.
Let me tell you, in these 2 books, the sexual event is well documented here in both books.
Mm-hmm.
It's thrilling,
Yeah.
you know, to read about it.
Yeah.
I think you captured the moment very well in
Oh,
both
thank
these
you.
books.
Yeah, that's good to know. Those are hard scenes to write.
Yeah, I bet.
They really are.
Now, when you say he died with his daughter in an auto accident, were
His
these-
wife and daughter died.
Wife and daughter.
In an auto accident.
Is that in reality? Did you know somebody like that?
No, not really.
Are any of these people based in reality?
Sort of. The cartoonist definitely is.
Yes, right.
And the photographer is based on a friend of mine, a guy I went through college with and went into the Navy with, as a matter of fact.
Did you have to get the approval of any of these people?
No.
Did they ever complain?
No. They haven't.
They've been immortalized.
They've been buying my books.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And you're going to have the sequel come out in a week or something
I
like
should have copies by probably the end of this week.
that? Has it been the same publisher all these years?
No, the one in Pittsburgh, when the economy crashed under the Bush administration,
Yeah.
that happened at the same time the CEO had an illness that almost killed her, and as a result, the company went bankrupt, and they were picked up by another company which doesn't do books.
Yeah.
So I had to find a new publisher, and I was hunting for a couple of years, and then I found one back in Minnesota. But they would only accept books that were based in Minnesota.
Right. Oh,
Which
okay.
was okay in Minnesota, but that's not such a big deal out here.
Yeah.
And then they're in trouble now too, because the driving force behind it just died of cancer. And I decided to try this Outskirts, which is a self-published thing actually. And I'm doing well with them. They do a good job. You know, they put out these, and I'm getting a bigger share of the income, as a matter of fact.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they work it like so many publishers do, where you don't get any money until the project is paid for?
No, they've been putting money in my account right along. That's been quite nice, as a matter of fact.
On your taxes, do you say you're a writer?
Oh yeah,
I love it.
yeah, I have to. Well, you know, in order to get the deductions for the, I buy author copies at half price.
Right.
And some of the advertising, if I want to have a review in Kirkus, for example, that costs money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I bought an ad in a magazine that goes to all the libraries. That costs money. So
I'm absolutely
deduct
thrilled.
this from my income.
I think it's wonderful that you can say you're an author on your tax forms.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the status of being a photographer for many years.
Mm-hmm.
But now I love being called retired.
Yeah.
When are you going to retire?
Well, I swore that the one that it's coming out this month was going to be the last one. And then 2 weeks ago, I wrote the first couple of pages of the next one.
So you're not going to retire?
No, not yet.
Have you ever had an offer for a screenplay for any of these?
No. Well, actually, I had one of them looked at. I think it was this one, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
They looked at it, and I don't know. It just didn't work out. So.
Yeah.
But some of them, you know, there's a lot of action in some of my books. There are boat chases. Mitch gets thrown overboard and almost drowns. In one book, the scenery on stage falls on him and pins him to the floor.
That's in one of these books, isn't it?
It's an earlier, yeah. It's a book called Stage Fright. It was one of the first ones I wrote.
What is the first one you wrote? What's it called?
It's called One Death Too Many.
One Death Too Many.
Yeah, it was about people in nursing homes were unexpectedly dying of,
Yeah.
of heart attacks or whatever.
Right.
And they all had the same doctor. And so Mitch and Al get suspicious of this and investigate to find out what's going on there. And because there was one death too many.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, that's the next one I'm going to do. Yeah. I only read, man, like maybe 3 or 4 books a year. I have to have the whole series of your stuff. I want to read it in a year. 15 books a year. No? You don't think I can do it?
Yeah, you got to be dedicated to do that. I think I probably do that. But
Well, your stuff is so compelling. You know, once you start you got to stay there and read it.
yeah, I try to make it that way.
Oh, you do an excellent job.
Oh,
you
good.
do an excellent job.
Nice to hear that.
Now, where are you going to be as far as in the public to sell your books? Do you have any shows coming up or anything like that?
Well, I just, I'll be, let's see, what'll be the next one? Probably next summer in Hopedale has a day in the park.
That's right.
Which is where you found me.
Yeah.
I'll do that again. I'll be at Pies on the Common in Framingham in October.
What in the
It's
Common?
Pies on the Common. The Unitarian Universalist Church has a big craft show, and the main thing is that the church members bake 400 or 500 pies.
Wow.
And sell them at this on the Framingham Common, and they have probably 20 craft people, including me, and I sell there every year.
Cool.
And then I'll be back on the Vineyard again. I'll probably do something at the Vineyard Library. I haven't got it scheduled yet. And then the thing on my front porch in the middle of August. Come to Oak Bluffs.
Oak Bluffs. Is that where you live on the island?
Yes.
In Oak Bluffs?
Yeah.
I've driven there. It's a beautiful little town.
Well, I live in a. It started out as a Methodist campground in 1843.
Yeah.
And people came in tents, and then they put platforms under the tents, and then they put houses on cottages on top of the platforms. And I happen to own one of those, which I couldn't afford to buy now.
Yeah. Oh my. I guess not.
No, I
guess not.
I've been there for, let's see, I bought that in 1988.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suspect it's all paid for.
Yes, thank heavens.
I hear you. I hear you. Just for our viewers, we're talking to Glenn Ickler. Ickler?
Ickler. Yeah.
Ickler, okay. And he is an incredible author. 2 of his books I've read since, I don't know, when was that fair at the Hopedale? October?
September. Yeah,
September?
It was September, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was right after Labor Day.
These are 2 of 15 books that he has written, and there's a sequel to this one that's coming out very soon. I'll tell you, if with the holiday seasons especially, there's no greater gift to somebody who, number 1, likes a mystery, and number 2, who is particularly fond of Martha's Vineyard in Minneapolis, St. Paul. These are the books. Glenn Ickler, Google him and behold. How's that?
That's very good.
I've been practicing that for a long time, Glenn. So you're not going to retire. You're writing yet another book.
I'm going to do
A
at
sequel?
least one more, yes.
A sequel?
Not really. This is, every year for the last 10 years, I've been going to the National Storytelling Festival down in Jonesboro, Tennessee. So this one's going to, they go to the storytelling festival because they know one of the tellers down there, and things go bad down there at the storytelling festival.
Now, when you're down there, are you reading an entire book to any number of people?
No.
Are
no.
these the stories that you're telling? They have nothing to do with this.
No, they're entirely different.
Are you reading them, or do you have them memorized?
They're memorized. Yeah.
Word for word.
Well, no, they'll change a little bit.
Are they kind of like expertaneous? What's the word?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
On the spur of the moment, extemporaneous.
Yeah, extemporaneous.
Yeah.
No, they're set stories that I have known and I've rehearsed, but obviously they'll change a little bit with every telling,
Right.
because the mind isn't that mechanical.
Well, your mind is certainly up to par. You got the mind of a 40-year-old, my friend. Hey, I just got the word from the director. It's time to say goodbye.
Oh.
I told you it would fly by, right?
It always does.
It's been a pleasure.
I've enjoyed it very much.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Glenn Ickler. Check him out on Google. Goodbye, everybody. The best of holiday seasons to you and yours, and a happy new year.